Hello. I only told a few people I was going live, so we will see what happens. But I look cute today. I look cute. I'm digging it. I am all the way digging it. So I'm going to come on and just tell you about some things that's on my mind. Let me start my steamer. And today is Thursday. I think today is Thursday. Just talk to you about consistency. Because there's this quote, Gary Vaynerchuk quote that I've posted several times about, lack of consistency being a massive vulnerability. And so I'm going to give my spin on that. I have a master class for PDP Diamonds today at 3. And y'all know how it is. Yeah, I get on here live when I actually got to get ready and look presentable. So we will get me ready for the next few hours. I'll be live here probably over on, well, for sure over on Instagram, maybe TikTok. I don't know about YouTube, but yeah. So let's talk about inconsistency. So raise your hand if you know there is an area of your life where you can and should be more consistent. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to put out there, that I am not going to be preachy. This is not to be judgmental. In a moment of transparency and vulnerability, hey Queen, I'm going to let you know that this is coming from a place of me too, and some of what I got to say does apply to me. Not all of it, because I also am a leader, so I can see when other people are, having breaches in their inconsistency. But in no way, shape, or form is this direct. I've had to say this a lot because y'all be in my inbox. Are you talking about me? Do you know how many people I come in contact with in a given day? Just from my social media posts alone, right? So, and I have 3 decades plus of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. So I have a whole breath to draw on, a whole breath, like not like breathing breath, but breath, BREADTH. Okay, so if a hit dog will holler though, right? A hit dog will holler. I learned that from my girl Beryl. A hit dog will in fact holler. Danielle, thank you for your transparency. She says guilty. There is not a single person on earth, I think. It would be very, very rare, like you got to be like Sheldon Cooper to say that you are 100% consistent in every area of your life 100% of the time. That's a really, really high bar, right? So, like, for example, going live is something I'm pretty inconsistent about, okay? I also want to put out there that yes, this is coming from, if it doesn't bring me joy, if it doesn't come from ease and flow, then it is not for me, and it is up to me to find what brings me joy and how to get it with ease and flow. Yes, it's coming from me, because let's talk about this for a minute, because this is probably the first reason you're inconsistent, right? Is there's a difference between ease and level of difficulty and comfortableness, level of comfortableness, okay? So let's get into it. I think I'm going to start right out the gate with this. Hey. And that is this. Priorities are never in conflict. Priorities are never in conflict. What does that mean, Tamara? That's a great question. You ask good questions, let me tell you. Priorities are never in conflict simply means if it's important to you, you will make it happen. If it's important to you, you will make it happen. So, where you are inconsistent, that is the first thing you need to ask yourself. Is this really important to me? Because if it were, I would make it happen, because priorities are never in conflict. When it's important to you, you will figure out how to do priority A and priority B. It is never I can only do priority A or priority B. You will figure out how to do both when it's important to you. So you have to ask yourself, is this really important to me, and why or why not? Because priorities are never in conflict, okay? I picked that up from someone else. And I was like, look, that's one of the ones I got to write down so I can remember. I look so cute without makeup or anything on today. I hope y'all seeing what I'm seeing. Because sometimes I go back and I watch the replay and I'm like, I looked a lot cuter on the live video. So anyway, so here's the thing. And I heard this from a boss's boss like 12, 15 years ago. And it is this. Number one, he said, if it is to be, it is up to be. You didn't see me? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm here. First of all, you know, he gave us these mirrors, and these mirrors said, if it is to be, it is up to me. I already knew that. I mean, I was a single mom, right? I raised 2 kids as a single mom. So check this out. Your path to your goals, your path to success can be found in one of two quotes, right? Look at your day, the one from John Maxwell about it being found in your daily habits. What are you doing every day? And number 2, this is the one I'm going to hit you with, and that is this. It is a relentless marathon of redundancy. And I think he actually got that from the book, The Oz Principle, which is a really great book on business and leadership and self-improvement if you want to read it. It's an older book, but it's really good. The Oz Principle, right? So it is a relentless marathon of redundancy. About a year ago, I did a TikTok with a Rihanna voiceover, and she's talking about, if I've done it, then I'm already bored. And in that, I was saying how often, and I'm guilty, we get bored. Like, I'm an achiever. Once I've achieved it, I'm good, right? I don't necessarily need to do it again. I'm looking for the next challenge. And that is a problem with our modern society in general. And again, a hit dog will holler. So if that hit you, say ouch, because it hit me, right? It hit me, right? So it is a relentless marathon of redundancy. Simply means you ain't got time. You can't afford to get bored. You just got to keep doing the same things over and over again. So what does that mean? Now, one area where I can honestly say I'm good with the relentless marathon of redundancy, and I bet you can guess it. I bet you can guess it is, while I might not go live as frequently and consistently as I should, I still post frequently and consistently since 2013. Even if you can look at my Facebook and you say, oh, well, she went a couple days here where she didn't post, I can guarantee you, I bet money, you can find that I made a post somewhere else on the social media universes. There has never been a day where I didn't make some kind of post. So just because you didn't see it, it just may be that you weren't on that platform, you're not in that group, you didn't check my stories that day, all of those, right? So that's what the relentless marathon of redundancy is. So let's talk about it from social media posting. How many of you post a couple times, and because you don't go viral, because you don't get the number of likes that some guru said you should get, or you're comparing yourself to someone else and you think you suck because you're not getting the same engagement and number of people in your inbox, or if somebody didn't just go automatically and join or sell, that means you suck at it, and so why post? It doesn't work, right? Say ouch if you've ever done that, because I know I have. And hey, I'm probably one of the best out there at the social media marketing game, right? Some people tell me I am the best, but I'm gonna be humble and say one of the best, right? So how many times has that happened where you posted and for whatever reason, whether it was 10 likes or lives is a great example, right? Lives is a great example. So I used to could go live and by the end of the day have over 2,000 views. Now I'm lucky if I have 50, right? I ain't gonna lie. That's part of why it's hard for me to justify going live. Because I look at the numbers and the analytical and I think, oh, these other, but here's that one thing I can tell you. I probably have more people in my inbox now after a live than I used to have. Rinse my hands here real quick, right? So the Relentless Marathon of Redundancy means it don't matter how many people engaged. It doesn't matter. If you are doing what people like myself are instructing you to do, just because it didn't work that particular day, you still do it at the frequency, at the intervals that we know work, right? Because we're saying it works, and you're looking at, well, it works because all these people follow them. It works because they get X number of likes, so many people comment, so many people share. I didn't get that, so it didn't work for me. And we know that we were doing it back before you saw us, when we didn't get all the likes, the comments, and the shares, right? We know that it still works on those other days, and that's why we're telling you to do it. But you didn't see those days. You only see today. You didn't see the struggle that led to today, and that makes you want to give up. And that, again, you got to go back and you got to check, gut check, is this number one a priority? Number two, is this really my goal, right? What is your goal? And not even, because I believe they really are your goals, right? Do you really want to achieve your goals, right? Do you really feel worthy of achieving your goal? Do you really feel your goal is something that you can actually achieve? Because I'm going to tell you, I've been in leadership a long time, and I've sat in front of people and they told me goals, and it's like, are you for real? Like, you don't say it. You don't say that, Tamara. Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it. But you're like, you know that's not what they really want. You know that's not what brings them joy. You know that's not what comes from ease and flow for them, but they're telling you what society has told them their goals should be. They're telling you what they may think you think their goals should be. They're telling you what their parents say their goals should be. And you know that that's not their goal, so you got to be honest. I tell people all the time, on my team, no. You're not going to use me as a scapegoat. I see you use your husband as a scapegoat, an excuse all the time. I see you use your kids, your job, but I'm setting the boundary. You're not going to use me as the scapegoat for why you're not getting something done. Because that's the thing I will tell you. When you're telling me that you didn't get this done because your husband doesn't support you, what I hear as someone who raised 2 children with support family, I give you that, but not support of another parent, financially or otherwise, I'm telling you that boils down to a you problem. That is not a spouse problem. That is a you problem. You don't have discipline. You don't have boundaries. You don't have systems in place for you to be able to do what it is that you need to do. But you have them for your job, and that's fine. Again, priorities are never in conflict. If you treated it with the same respect that you treated your job and put the same boundaries and systems in place, then yeah, and I'm not going to be the one to sit here and tell you then if you do that and you still have a problem, you should find a new spouse. That ain't my business. That's not my ministry. That's beyond the scope of this live. But, you know, sometimes we just got to figure things out, right? Because, yeah, I'm going to just leave that alone. Okay, so number one, you got to have habits. It's a relentless marathon of redundancy, and you got to show up and you got to show out even when you don't feel like it. Okay? You got to show up and you got to show out no matter how you feel. Okay? That was like my big thing 2015 or 16 was my big personal development theme for the year that year. I don't do the word of the year. Y'all know that I hate that. Was I really had to work on not being governed by my feelings. Okay? And so if you wonder what I mean by being governed by my feelings, just go back and rewind and listen to everything I just said, okay? You gotta show up regardless of how you feel. You cannot be governed by your feelings, okay? Because that's what faith is. Faith is still taking that next step even though you don't know where it's landing you, right? So you gotta check that. Number two It's, again, a boundary thing. You got to learn to say no, right? You got to learn to say no. So what do I mean? Because everybody tells you learn to say no. I had friends who are still my friends today, but when I got really serious about building first me and then my business, they would call and they would want to go, oh, let's go to dinner. Let's go to like my favorite place to eat. And it's like, man, I would really love to, but I got a webinar scheduled tonight, right? I got a webinar scheduled. I can't do it, right? I have webinar, you know, and then they'd ask the same day of the week, the next week. And it's like, that's the day that I do my webinar. I can't do it because I have to do the webinar when my ideal client is off of work. They can't be on the webinar while they're at their job, right? So I can't do it, right? And so I had to learn to say no because I had a choice. See, in that moment I was faced with a choice, and that choice was to either say yes and then I'm not keeping my word, I'm not building my business, or I could honor my word. And it doesn't matter if nobody showed up for the webinar, because what I learned from all those failed webinars is I can run a webinar like clockwork and I can make thousands of dollars in minutes, right? But had I said, oh, nobody's going to show up anyway, last week nobody showed up, nobody registered, I'm not going to get in there and pretend like it's a room full of thousands of people, I wouldn't be able to do that today, okay? Same thing, like I just discovered, because I've been getting to bed early for once, like, which is like 11 o'clock for me, at 10 o'clock on a local channel here, SVU, y'all know I love me some Olivia, and it's not a season with Stabler. I just discovered, like, there are whole seasons of SVU that I actually have not seen. I thought I'd seen every single episode of SVU, but I missed them. Do you know why? Again, because on Thursdays at 7, for the longest, I was either doing live video or some sort of webinar. So I missed that. So I had to say no to SVU. I had to say no to Netflix, right? I went for a while with choice. No cable and not even Netflix. All I had was YouTube. So it made me learn. I took advantage of what YouTube was. You'd ask me what was my favorite show or channel, it was YouTube. Right? And if you were asking me for a show, I would say something along the lines of one of the people I was following very closely online and following that made me into the monster that I am today. So you've got to learn to say no. Again, because priorities are never in conflict. I could have chosen to watch Stabler and be in the exact same position years later as everyone else and not have grown, and we're not talking about, because we got to put this out there, we're not talking about the opinions of other people in terms of where you are. We're talking about you. Are you where you're supposed to be? Are you where you want to be? Right? And if you're not, you need to start saying no to things like TV. And when you do, I said I wasn't going to be preachy. And when you do, because it's just always weird to me. People act like it's so much, when it just flows so naturally and effortlessly for me, right? And the thing is because it's a conscientious decision that I said I want this, and I'm going to show God that I want it with my actions, right? And not just lip service, right? So what are you listening to on the way to work in the morning? Right? So if you don't want to give up your TV show, what are you listening to on the way to work every morning? Are you listening to a podcast? Right? Are you, and is it a crime podcast, which I've recently discovered and I love? Or is it something that's going to personally develop you, that's going to build your skill set, that's going to build your mindset for you to put on the armor and the belt to be able to deal with the haters and the negators and all of that, right? Are you listening to that on the way to work? Especially if you go into a job that you hate for a boss that you don't like. You definitely need to armor yourself in the morning. I normally do the nose. All right. my nose? There it is. Okay, so let me get this back on here because my nose needs it. This is aloe vera, and it always feels so good after exfoliating. Okay, so what are you listening to in the morning is an example, right? It's all boils down to choice. Are you willing to make the sacrifices? Are you willing to make, first of all, the decision and stand firm, be resolved in your decision? Don Miguel Ruiz, the guy who wrote the 4 Agreements. Everybody talks about all these other things. The 4 things, the number one thing I took from that book is there are 4 emotions that lead to change: anger, fear, resolve, and disgust, right? I lost 90 pounds back in like 2009, 2010, because all 4 were just like blamed, like on level 10 for me, like Richter 10. Right? On the Richter scale, they were level 10. I was angered at myself for letting myself get in that condition. I was fearful that if I didn't make a change, I might end up dead and my children would have to bury me at a young age. Anger, fear, resolve. So I resolved that I needed to make the change. And honestly, I was kind of disgusted with myself, right? So you don't have to have all 4. But man, I'll tell you, if all 4 are in play, you better watch out, at least for Tamara, right? Okay. And so it's, have any of those 4 emotions really made you say, okay, I'm like, Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror was like my favorite song in like 8th grade. And it's a long song, and I would listen to it like on major repeat, my little boombox with the little, you push the little button down. Like back when I was really little, you would put a thing on the needle for it to just keep playing. Well, the boombox, there was a special little button that you could push down and it would just play the same song over and over again. So, but I digress. So Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, I'm gonna make a change for once in my life, right? Have you, though, you got to figure out, because everybody got their breaking point. You might not have hit rock bottom enough. I know they talk about that in the 12 steps for like Al-Anon and stuff like that. You just might not have hit enough of a rock bottom for any of those 4 emotions to come into play for you to resolve to make a change. And hey, everybody's got their walk. I'm not here to judge where you are on yours, okay? So you have, I got the paper wet. So you've got to learn to say no, okay? You've got to make the decision. You got to be able to stand firm, resolve. You got to be able to stand firm in your decision that it come heaven, hell, or high water. It doesn't matter if it's your mama, if it's your daddy, your grandma, your own children who stand in opposition of you doing what it is that you want to do for your goal, your husband, that you're going to make it happen, right? You got to decide. I'm just saying. I personally, some of y'all might get mad for what I'm about to say. And again, it's not my ministry to minister to you about your marriage. And I believe that if that was God's ministry for me, whether I'm single or married, it would be God's ministry for me, but it's not. But I will just say this, and if you know me, you know. So I'm just going to tell you right now, warning, you might want to step away for a second. But Tamara S. Hamilton has never had no eggplant that good to make her give up what her dreams and goals were. Not ever on this earth. And I done had some good stuff. But I have never had nor seen an eggplant good enough that was going to make me not graduate from college with a 4-year degree, to go after my corporate career, to make me lose a job. That was just not happening, okay? And I know a husband is more than just eggplant. I get that. But at the end of the day, like Mama said, if I'm going to do bad, I'm going to do bad by myself. That's all I got to say on that, and we're moving on, okay? That leads me to, I can't believe I just said all that, but sometimes it just flows and it just comes out. But next, you are focused on everyone else's needs but your own. And again, I get it. I'm a mother. I absolutely get it. I get it. Not only I'm a mother, I grew up in a single parent household. I was the oldest. And I was given a lot of responsibility at a very early age. But I think that's also why at this season in my life, nobody else's needs come before mine. And I'm not saying that, I'm not telling you that's what where you are or where you should be. But you never should not come at all. You never should not come at all. Because you got to look at it like this. If you're giving to everybody, who's giving to you? Who's pouring into you? Who's thinking about you? Who's being grateful for you? Because I can tell you, those kids, they get grown, they get their own life, and they start. I was talking to my girlfriend Suzanne the other night about this. They get grown, they think they know everything, they have their own lives, right? According to TikTok, all of them, Gen Z and younger millennials, they plan on leaving all their parents in a nursing home because their parents set boundaries and disciplined them and all these other things. They still have the mind of very young children and have not encountered enough in life to really understand how this thing called life really works, right? And so your kids will get grown, and then all you have left is you. And we're not going to talk about the women who, you know, the kids get grown, and then that's also when the husband decide to leave, because he been telling his mistress for all them years, as soon as my last one graduated high school, I'm yours, baby. Right? You don't believe me? Go on TikTok. They all over TikTok. TikTok, their algorithmic game is strong. Right? They know I'm black. They know I'm single. They know I'm in my late 40s. They know I'm an empty nester. So they show me videos of women in their 40s and their 50s and what women in their 40s and 50s are talking about on TikTok. And these are the things they're talking about, right? And so you have to make a decision. I'll never forget when I was in 6th grade, my mother, who had me at 15, almost 16, right? So she did not graduate high school. So when I was in 6th grade, it's me, my sister, we're like 18 months apart, and then my younger brother, Jared, fully disabled, cerebral palsy, 4 years younger than me. He is still to this day this woman's center of her universe and her world, right? When I was in 6th grade, she decided to go back and get her GED, and then she also went and got, you know, multiple associate's degrees. And the reason she did this, I overheard her telling another adult, was because when she was at one of the facilities, you know, helping my brother get what my brother needed, one of the other ladies who had an adult child older than my brother told her, you still have to take care of you. You still got to do something for you, because your child will get grown, right? You know, it's up to you. You could decide to put him in a facility, which she's never done and she will never do. Absolutely will never do. And so hearing that, it stuck with me to this day. I'm sitting here telling you, I don't remember the lady name, I don't remember the lady face, but that was why my mother went back and she got her education, and why she works, and she's gone on since then. Y'all can give her some love. She's gone back since then and gotten her bachelor's, and she does, you know, she's living life, right? But the reason she did was because this lady told her, yes, you are doing great. You should be all about your son and take care of your son, but you should also still have some you for you, right? You should still have some you for you. And that's why she went back and she got her education. And what that taught me was to have some me for me. And that was why I went and I got my undergraduate degree and my master's degree to show my babies. I turned 18 one Tuesday, had a baby the next, but it was 18. That was so important to me, to not carry on the tradition of being under 18. I at least made it by a week. And then my daughter was 22 when she had Tristan, right? Was to break the cycle. But my baby, she was 3 months old when she saw me walk across the stage for high school. She was 4 and partied. She was the most dancing person at my college graduation party. And they both were there when I got my master's degree, my first master's degree, okay? So you have to stop putting everyone else's needs before yours. You have to have some balance, and you have to have some boundaries, and you have to say no. You've got to, okay? Now we're going to really get into the nuts and bolts of it, okay? Because this next one, we already talked about priorities are in conflict, so we're going to talk about this next one. And this one is huge, because this is an area of improvement for me that I am constantly working on, okay? Because y'all know like I said, if it doesn't bring me joy, if it doesn't come from ease and flow, then it is not for me. And it is up to me. It is my duty to myself to find what brings me joy and how to get it with ease and flow, okay? But now, like I said, Ease and flow just means my natural God-given talent. That's what ease and flow means to me. Marketing, sales, leading, those are natural talents. Those are natural gifts. Teaching, natural gift for me. Okay, so doesn't mean, however, that I'm supposed to always be comfortable, because for a lot, and since like 2018, probably even started earlier than that, my big thing was, I don't want no drama. If it got drama attached to it, I don't want to be bothered with it. If it made me uncomfortable, I didn't want to be bothered with it. I just wanted a nice, easy life. I just wanted nice and easy. I just wanted no drama, very but what happens? You put on weight. That's not good, right? But what happens is you get comfortable, and in your comfortableness is where you begin to fall behind, okay? And now I know I'm speaking very much language of a very ultra competitive, very driven and ambitious person, and not everybody is there. But you still, while you might not have as much drive, as much ambition, be driven by the same types of things that drive me, there is still a problem with falling behind, okay? There's still very much a problem with falling behind, okay? So, the problem is your desire to be comfortable outweighs your desire to actually achieve and be successful and hit your goals. And so you'll know it, you'll feel it. Because I get those moments where it's like, oh, when is it ever just going to be easy? Why does it always have to be? Why? Because it does. Because that uncomfortableness, that bumping up against the wall, is where character is built, first of all. It's also where other attributes are worked on, and you come out stronger. And it's all part of the preparation for what's next as you walk in your purpose. And so walking in your purpose, anybody selling you that it's going to be easy and it's going to be a dream, no. It's not going to be a cakewalk. There are going to be moments of being uncomfortable, right? And that has nothing to do with level of difficulty. That has more to do with personal growth, and that's why personal development is... Why am I putting that under my eye? And that's why personal development is your number one income producing activity. Because you know what they say, new levels, say it with me, new levels, new devils, right? And so you've got to learn to embrace being uncomfortable. You've got to embrace the journey. Everybody gets so focused on the destination in 2020, well, might as well say 2022. Everybody gets really in love with the destination, right? We look at people and we look at where they are today, and we immediately want to go there, and we take a nano step toward where they are, and we're not there yet, and then we want to quit. No, we've got to learn to embrace being uncomfortable, all right? Conflict and drama are good when properly managed, okay? They are a part of the process, and they will build character. Some of us are not where we are because I'm a runner. She's a runner. She's a track star. Hey, certain stuff start happening, I'm out. And sometimes you have to learn how to deal with difficult people. You have to learn how to deal with the haters. My social media was like this, and them haters started coming, and I just went, pause. Not because I was afraid of them, because I was afraid of how society, the internet, would react to me reacting to them, especially as a black woman in America. I can't react in the same way and do the same things that everybody else does. Not without other things being said and happening. You feel me? And you know it's true. It just is what it is, right? And so I've had to do a lot of work on blessing and releasing, because hey, I grew up on 12th and Center, where I come from. You come for me, you done made a mistake. You could come for me if you want to. You will be crippling back home if you make it back home, right? And so, again, that's that personal development, because where I grew up ain't gonna be no first lick. You think you gonna swing on me? No, ain't gonna be no first lick. I'm gonna hit you before you hit me. That's how I grew up. And yeah, that don't work. That only worked back then. That doesn't work now, right? And so that's growth. And growth is a beautiful thing. When you can look back and you can say, I remember when, and look at how far you've come, that is one of the most beautiful feelings in the world, only outmatched by the birth of your own child or grandchild, probably. Just to be able to look back and see that growth. So growth really is a beautiful thing, but it won't happen from a place of comfortableness. It won't happen from a place without any type of conflict. Even if, because, you know, we learned this like in 6th grade literacy, man versus man, man versus nature, man versus himself, right? So the conflict might be internal conflict, and that's where mindset and personal development come in, okay? We're coming home. The other thing is, remember what I just said about social media? Y'all do this too. It ain't just me. Don't act like it's just me. It's not just me, right? We get momentum, and we going, and we get tired, or something happened, and boom, we've lost momentum, right? And that's a problem, because once you lose that momentum, you got to start the whole process all over again, right? And I'm not saying you got to constantly be working in beast mode, because you will break down just like a machine. You will break down if you're constantly in beast mode. You do have to, it's okay to rest. Rest is productive, okay? And that's why my inconsistency in going live is really more of a conscientious decision that I can't do it all the time. Sometimes I have to just pick and choose. But the key is, the difference between that, me, and most people on that, is I still do something somewhere, right? And that's the key, right? So we build all this momentum and then we lose it. So we have to learn to rest. We have to learn to take breaks, but we have to learn where the point is that we can do it without losing momentum, right? And especially without quitting. Okay, and so this is the last one. Where is my oil? Right here. Okay, this is the last one, right? This is important. This is one of the biggest things I see. And it actually is within about 70% of all the other ones I just told you, which would be about 5 of them. I'd have to look and see if that's accurate, but I'm just going with it, okay? So it's in about 70% of 5 is actually 35. I don't know where I got 49. No, 70% of 7 would be 4.9, which would be 5, right? So we're just gonna run with that. And this is one of the other things, okay? Because I had to learn, again, to tell friends that like to call during the day from their job that they're getting paid on regardless. Talk about nothing. Gossiping. Talk about the eggplant they got last night. Baby, you getting paid. I'm burning the clock out sitting here talking to you. If that's not an income producing activity for me, right? And so what happens is, because we don't have the planning and organization in our life, combined with the ability to say no, other people start dictating your day. That actually really should have been number 1. So we're going to treat this like a Letterman thing, and we went backwards. This is the number 1 reason. You letting everybody else dictate your day, right? You get up, you answer emails right away instead of getting to the emails at your scheduled time, right? I've had to school a lot of people in the last year. Well, I sent you an email. And that's when Greg and Barbara want to jump out and be like, IDF. What that got to do with me? I answer that email when I get to that email, because right now, this is what my schedule says I'm supposed to be working on, right? I don't jump and say how high because you have an emergency on your part. Now, if it's involving my grandbabies, that's a different story. If it's involving my parents, that's a different story. If it's involving my siblings, but especially my disabled brother, that's a different story. But just because you decided to email or have a meeting at this time, or if the meeting is in limbo and you haven't gotten to me by a certain time, I'm considering that meeting is not happening at that time and I've got something else to do. And I'm not going to drop it to now meet with you at the last minute because you didn't respond to if we are meeting at 8:30 until it was beyond my threshold, right? So it's the boundaries, but it's also your planning and organization. Siri literally tells me what to do every day. And if you and I are talking verbally and we agree to do something, or there's something that I need to do, you will see me go, hey Siri, remind me with specific instructions. And when she reminds me in my calendar, so I got a Zoom at 3:00 today. In my calendar is the Zoom link, right? It's not, just doesn't tell me that I have a Zoom at 3:00 on this topic. The link is right there. So at 3:00, I'm where I'm supposed to be, right? Are you following me? At 3:00, I'm where I'm supposed to be, because at 3:00, I'm not running around looking for the Zoom link. The alert goes off 15 minutes beforehand. I'm getting ready for my Zoom 15 minutes beforehand, because I know sometimes things are blah, blah, blah in technology. So I make sure 15 minutes beforehand I can get logged into that Zoom and I'm in the waiting room. But y'all don't do that, because you let everybody else, including your children, run your day. Now, I'm not judging anybody as a mother, but I grew up in a very regimented home. You know, we knew what days and what time the garbage went out. The garbage was never not taken out because we knew exactly what day and what time the garbage was expected to be taken out. And that's how I ran my household. I was less rigid in a lot of other areas, clearly. But as far as setting a routine and having discipline, that's just the way that I grew up. And I didn't grow up in a military home. My mom, like I said, was barely 16 when she had me, right? But one thing from as early as I can remember, we always had some sort of routine. I was one of those kids that got to be in the house by the time the street lights come on when I was really young, right? So we always had some sort of routine, right? I just firmly believe if you don't have a routine, you don't know what you're doing, that's going to be a problem. If you first of all, y'all don't even schedule your business hours. You don't even, so how is your business a priority and you don't have business hours, right? And that's why the people in your life are upset with you, because they don't know. See, I have friends that say, you know, I know on Tuesdays you do this. I know on Thursdays is your this at this time. What is this day looking like for us to get together? That's when you know you done worked your life out. Okay? They already know. They already know not to ask me to do anything on Thursday at 7 o'clock. They already know on Tuesday at 7 o'clock, right? They already know, you know, I love you. If I haven't talked to you in a while and I did my check-in call, I will make a few minutes for you throughout the day, throughout business hours. But it ain't going to be no half hour, right? They know. They'll be like, all right, I'll let you go. I know you're busy. Because it's a respect thing, right? Because one of the things I've had to work on is they don't always know, but I will feel so disrespected, and that's when I act a donkey, right? When I feel disrespected. And so I had to learn to respond and not react and just be like, yo, this, and this. And then people will understand. People want to please you. People want to support you. People want you to be successful, but if you're not setting boundaries and expectations with them, then they don't know. They just don't know. And it's your job, your responsibility to educate them. Because I'm a flaming red. I'm a flaming red. I expect people to just know. Like, to me, it's common sense. I expect them to know. And what's so common to me is not so common to everybody. And you have to come to terms with that. You have to eat it up. And you have to go back and let people know what you expect. Hey, KB, right? It becomes your responsibility. Because if you just keep in your head and you just get madder and madder and madder, and your blood pressure raising and raising and raising, the only way for you to fix that is to communicate what you want and what you need. Okay? So it's the lack of planning and lack of organization. So my number one tip is set your business hours. Okay? And then just like with money, you got to assign the money. You got to assign the time, because time is what? Money. Time is money. Time is money. If we assign the money, if we are manifesting and we want money, and we have to assign the money, say where the money needs to go, give the money a purpose, you need to do the same thing with the time if time is money. Are y'all following that logic? Because I try to be a very logical person. Is that logical? If time is money, and when we are manifesting money, we need to assign the money, should we not be assigning the time? Not just blocking the time. Y'all quiet. Am I crazy here? Am I Looney Tunes? Not just blocking the time, but allocating the time to specific tasks, including planning and content planning, right? Allocating the time, assigning the time a purpose and a task. So y'all let me know if I'm crazy on that, because that's the biggest one I see. Okay. And Keisha says yes. You got to assign the time. You got to give the time a purpose, a destination, a name, a task. Okay. So that's the first thing. You got to block the time. Second is you got to allocate the time. And the third thing is you got to do the F you say you're going to do with the time. Because if you don't, that's when your husband and all the people around you start looking at you like you're crazy, including me. Right? I'll never forget. And I used to do this in corporate America. Get my kids to understand that, yes, mommy has to work. Mommy has to be to work at that time. Why? Because you like to go shopping on Michigan Avenue for your prom dress. You like to go shopping on Michigan Avenue for Christmas. You like to be the only kid on the bus for the Black College tour with her own debit card, swiping it, and when you run low on funds, you come back and then I transfer some more money to you. So if you like to live that lifestyle, it's the money not just gonna show up. We weren't born a Hilton. Right? We weren't born with our name on stadiums. Now, if I have anything to do with it, I want to at least be able to start the process for us eventually getting there in my lineage, but we weren't born into that. We didn't wake up in the cash register just millions and millions of dollars, right? So for you to be able to do that, I have to physically work until I can get to the point that I don't. And if I don't do it, ain't nobody else going to do it. So you have to be able to have those same conversations with your stakeholders in your life. You have to let your kids know. I know some folks who do vision boards, the whole family. And it's like, okay, little Tommy, if you want to go to Disney World, then mommy or daddy have to travel and go do this to make the money for you to be able to go to Disney World. And y'all not doing that. Y'all at everybody else's mercy, right? The woman, I'm not going to get preachy here. The speed of the leader is the speed of the pack, and the woman is 9.9999 times out of 10 the CEO and the leader of the household. And if you are not in a position of strength, if you are not in a position to control the speed of the game, if you're not in a position to have the system and dictate who's doing what in the system, and it can be based on their strengths and all of that, if you are not the one setting that up, I can guarantee you, most of y'all do not have men or husbands in your life, maybe even at all. Or if you do have them in your life, they're not going to be the ones to do it because they didn't grow up in a household where the father was the one doing that. They are expecting to be the one that be told what to do and where to be and when. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. And even when they want to do something, more often than not, they're going to run it by you, because you are the keeper of all things in the household. And so if you are the keeper of all things in the household and they are chaotic, the reason they're chaotic is you. Oh my God, it hurt for me to tell y'all that. Y'all think I like talking to you like this? Because I don't. But I'm also of a position that I don't have the fear. I'm in a position that I'm okay with doing hard things. I'm okay with having the difficult conversations. I don't like to, but I will do it because I care about you that much. And so if your household is chaotic and you can't get it done, you got to look at yourself. You got to look at yourself. Are you assigning? Are you setting expectations? Because you can only expect what you accept. Right? You can only expect what you accept. EXCEPT. You can only expect what you make exception for. So if you're saying your expectation is here, but you're making exceptions down here, then your expectation is now what you've accepted. Okay? Expect what you accept, right? And expect what you accept, ACCEPT, okay? And so you, as the ringleader of the household circus, have to look at you. Where is your planning? Where is your organization? Where is your communication? Where is your communication, right? And then if you make the decision to, oh my God, do I even want to say that? If you make the decision to constantly live in a life where your expectation is here, but you've accepted here, be real careful how I say that, that's on you. And you know what I'm talking about. If your expectation is here, but he only here and you accepting it, either you got to fill that gap, or you got to bring your expectation down here and accept it, or you got to do what you got to do, and that's not my ministry. But all I can do is just be the messenger and tell you. But you ain't got no man. Not because they don't want me. Not because I can't have one. Because I'm not going to lower my expectation. And you can take that and you can do with it what you want to, because eggplant is a plenty. That is never a problem. Okay? And that's it. But here's what I can tell you. These 7 things are why you're not where you're supposed to be. These 7 things are not where you're supposed to be. I started saying this earlier and I think I got distracted. That's typical Tamara. I tell people when they start that, well, I feel like I'm letting you down. No, I don't have no expectation of you. That's your life. That's your life. I know how to get it out the mud, because I ain't had no choice but to be able to get it out the mud. Not only am I black, I'm darker persuasion. So being mediocre has never been an option for me. I had to be all in, and I had to be better many times over than everybody else. And to this day, I still be better than many other people. But yet, they get the recognition, they get the spotlight, and blah, blah, blah. All I can do is just stay focused on my lane and my purpose, right? All I can do is just tell you what I see, tell you what I know from my own experience and wisdom. And it's on you to make your own decision. I still love you. But if you trying to get there with me, don't try to hold me back, because your expectations are here, they there, and there's a gap, and you haven't figured out what you want to do. Because I set my life up so that I don't have that problem. Okay? So I'm still going. Plenty of room for you on the rocket ship. It's just for you to decide where you want to be. Now, if you here and they there, and you still figuring that out, you can stay right where you at within where we going, and I still love you right there. I do. But you just got to be honest with yourself. My mama always said, you can lie to anybody. I don't care if they arrest you and you murdered somebody. You lie to them, but you don't lie to me. You tell me the truth. Just don't do it on their phone. right? And don't lie to yourself. She said people who lie to themselves crazy. And I believe that because I worked in the bank. And let me tell you, there's a lot, mental health is a real issue, right? But don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. And stop blaming. I've seen this. And this ain't directed at anybody. I'm telling you what I've seen. Because I've managed people. Managing people's accounts, managing the people whose accounts that you manage in, you learn a lot. And we as women have got to stop blaming the husband, the kids, the job, when we just might not really want to do the work, when we might be comfortable being mediocre. And that's okay. Ain't nobody judging you for that. That's on you. That's your life. I can't answer for your dash when you die. Only you can. I can't answer for your dash when you're on your deathbed, sitting there wishing woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's on you. I can only answer for mine. Okay? So I'm passing the information along. You can take it. You can do with it what you want to. Y'all know me. I ain't saying nothing just to be mean. I ain't saying nothing to be judgmental. If it was up to me, my mouth would be closed on a lot of it. But it just, that's how it is. Okay? So, consistency. You fix the consistency in your life and you done fixed a huge part of it. The other piece then is your mindset. And typically, your inconsistency is a mindset issue. And you got to fix that, right? Some of y'all buy course after course after course. This guru and that guru and that guru. Because y'all just love slapping BandAids on broken legs. You slapping a BandAid on a broken leg. Anything to distract you from dealing with what's going on in your heart and your head. The past still got too much space in your head because it only exists. The past is no longer reality. It only exists in your head. And that's me. I can spend too much time in the past in my head, and I had to learn to be aware and yank myself out of that and get back into reality, right? And you got to stop slapping BandAids on there with courses and blah, 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 blah. And you literally got to do like Michael Jackson said, start with the woman in the mirror. Because you can't fix a broken spouse. Only God can. All you can do is fix you. But y'all, I really believe some people be scared to fix them because they know once they fix them, it's over. It's over. And I know that feeling of feeling like you're going to be a failure because it's over. Feeling like you're a failure because you didn't want that for your kids. I understand it. So that's why I'm not judging you and I'm not telling you what to do. That's on you. And not everybody has that problem. I'm just saying it just keep coming out. Right? But problems are like milk. They spoil. That's all I got to say. So that's it. Be consistent. Work on it. And it doesn't. And the consistency, I don't think it's something that you ever just fix. Just like healing, right? Because that's really what all this boils down to is healing. If you don't want to start healing, I know people, they love running around fixing everybody else, so they don't have to fix themselves, so they don't have to heal themselves. They want to be part. I was that person. You want to run around, you want to help everybody else and help everybody else heal, so you don't have to face your own demons and what you need to heal on. And until you do that, you're going to be on the wrong relentless marathon of redundancy. So that is it. I thank y'all for watching. I'll get this up over on YouTube. And now, boys and girls, I'm going to go do my eye mask and put on a little makeup because I got my 3 o'clock Zoom. All I want to do is zoom in a zoom. So I will holla at y'all later. Bye. But I look good. Look at the skin. It's so soft. I wish you could feel how soft it is. I wish you could feel how soft it is. I had to clean my nails from, all the exfoliation it got under my nails because I got low nail beds or whatever. But yeah, I wish you could feel it. But don't touch my face. I'm telling you right now. If you meet me in person, do not touch my face and do not touch my hair. All right, I'm going to go. Bye.